I pulled into the driveway with my suitcase still in the trunk, exhausted from a week-long work trip, ready to finally sleep in my own bed, except there was a moving truck parked on my lawn. Strangers were laughing, unloading furniture, carrying lamps and boxes onto my porch. I stepped out of the car, walked toward them, my heart pounding. "Excuse me, what are you doing?" A man in his 40s turned around, smiled pleasantly. "Moving in. We just bought this place, closed on it 2 weeks ago." The world tilted. "Bought it? From who?" The previous owner, some lady, real estate agent, handled everything." I looked at the house, my grandmother's house, the one she'd left me 6 months ago when she died. My name was still on the mailbox. The flowers I'd planted in spring were still blooming. My spare key was still hidden under the third stone on the left. "There's been a mistake," I said. My voice was shaking. "This is my house." He frowned, pulled out his phone, showed me closing documents, property address. Correct. Sale date, 3 weeks ago. Seller name Tessa Langdon. My name. But I never sold anything. My name is Tessa Langdon. I'm 28 years old. I inherited this house from my grandmother 6 months ago. She'd raised me from age 12 onward when my mom remarried and decided her new husband and my younger brother Blake were her real family. Grandma was the only person who'd ever chosen me first. When she died, she left me everything. Her house, her savings, even her vintage car. My mom had been furious. At the funeral, she didn't cry, just asked the lawyer, "Who gets what?" When he read that I inherited the house, she went silent. Cold. Later she'd said, "Well, I hope you appreciate what you're taking from this family." Like Grandma's house was supposed to be hers by default. I'd brushed it off then, thought she was just grieving strangely. Now, standing in front of strangers unloading furniture into rooms where I'd grown up, I finally understood. She hadn't been grieving, she'd been planning. I called Mom from my car, hands shaking so badly I could barely dial. She answered on the third ring. "Tessa, what's wrong? What's wrong? There are people moving into Grandma's house." Silence. Then a laugh, not nervous, amused. "Oh, that, you're overreacting." "Overreacting? They said they bought it. Someone sold my house." "You weren't really going to live there. You're barely in town anyway." "That's not the point. Where did the money go?" Long pause. "I helped Blake get some peace. He needed it. You should be happy for your brother." My vision blurred. "You sold my house? For Blake?" He was struggling. This was a fresh start for him. "It was my house." "Well, now it's resolved. I have to go." She hung up. I sat in my car for 20 minutes. Couldn't move. Couldn't think. Just stared at strangers carrying my grandmother's memory into cardboard boxes. That night, I couldn't sleep. Kept checking my phone, hoping for an apology, an explanation. Instead, I opened Instagram at 2 a.m. Blake had posted a photo from Santorini. Blue water, white buildings, him holding champagne, huge smile. Caption, "Finally taking a break. Needed this so bad, thanks Mom." Posted 6 hours ago. 43 likes already. Comments, "Living your best life." "You deserve it, bro. Greece looks amazing." My stomach dropped. He used the sale of my house, my inheritance, my grandmother's legacy, for a vacation. A vacation to Greece, while I was homeless, while strangers slept in my grandmother's bedroom. I screenshot the post, saved it. Then I opened my laptop, started documenting everything. Because this wasn't just cruel. This was illegal. I pulled up the county property records online, searched the address. The deed transfer was dated exactly 1 month ago. Seller name, Tessa Langdon. My name. I clicked on the digital signature, zoomed in. My signature. Except it wasn't. The T was wrong. The loop on the G was backward. The slant was off. I compared it to my real signature on my driver's license. Completely different. Someone had forged my name. I checked the notary stamp. Official looking. Dated. Signed by someone named C. Williams. I'd never met anyone named C. Williams. Never signed anything. Never authorized a sale. This wasn't a mistake. This was fraud. I screenshot every page, saved the PDFs, printed copies, started building a case. I texted the family group chat. "Did anyone know Mom was selling Grandma's house?" My cousin replied first. "Oof, that's rough." My aunt, "You know how your mom is. She probably thought she was helping." "Helping who?" I typed, deleted it. Tried again. "She forged my signature. I never agreed to sell." Blake sent a shrug emoji. My uncle, "Family stuff is complicated. Maybe talk it out, like this was a disagreement about Thanksgiving plans." My mom didn't respond at all. Nobody defended me, nobody asked if I was okay, nobody even seemed surprised. They all knew, or they didn't care enough to ask questions. Either way, I was alone in this. I left the group chat. I went to the storage unit where I'd kept Grandma's important documents. Found her will, the original, handwritten, notarized, read through it carefully. I leave my house at 847 Maple Street to my granddaughter Tessa Langdon. She was there when others weren't. She showed up. She deserves a home that's truly hers. There was a note at the bottom, in Grandma's shaky handwriting from her final months. To Tessa. Your mother will fight this. Don't let her win. You earned this by being present. By loving me without conditions. This house is yours. Protect it. Tears blurred my vision. She'd known. Even then, she'd known Mom would try something. I just hadn't expected it to be this. I made 3 copies of the will, stored them separately. This was my evidence, my proof. Grandma had chosen me, and I was going to honor that choice. I scheduled a consultation with a local attorney, someone a friend had recommended. She read through everything. The will, the forged deed, the property records. Looked up at me with sympathetic eyes. This is clear civil fraud, possibly criminal. So you'll take the case? She hesitated. This is going to be messy, legally and personally. She's your mother. So what? Family litigation is complicated, emotional, expensive. I don't care. She set down the papers. Some lawyers won't touch cases like this. Too much drama, too much risk of non-payment. Are you one of those lawyers? She nodded slowly. I'm sorry. I just don't think I'm the right fit. I gathered my documents, walked out, sat in my car and cried. But only for 5 minutes. Then I started researching other attorneys. I called Mom again, demanded answers. She sounded annoyed. We've been over this. No, we haven't. You stole my house. I didn't steal anything. You weren't using it. The house needed love, not dust and neglect. It needed me. I was planning to move back. When? You've been living out of Airbnbs for months. Be realistic. That doesn't give you the right. It was mine first, Tessa. Before your precious grandmother wrote you in over me. I should have inherited that house. It should have stayed in the direct family line. The truth slipped out. Raw. Bitter. She'd never forgiven Grandma for choosing me. Had never forgiven me for being chosen. You committed fraud, I said quietly. I corrected an injustice, and Blake needed help. He's struggling with his career, with his confidence. He needed a reset. So you gave him my money. I gave him a future. I hung up. Realized I'd recorded the entire call. Every admission, every justification, evidence. I FaceTimed Blake. He answered from what looked like a boat, ocean behind him, sun setting, glass of wine in hand. What's up? Did you know? I asked. About the house? He smirked. Of course I knew. Mom told me she was handling things, fixing your situation. Fixing my situation? Yeah, you were stuck, clinging to the past. She freed you up. Blake, she forged my signature and stole my inheritance. He shrugged. You should thank us honestly. Now you can actually move forward with your life instead of being tied to Grandma's old house. My hands clenched. I wanted to scream, to throw my phone, but instead, I stayed calm. So you knew the whole time? Yep, and I'm enjoying the freedom too. This trip has been amazing. I smiled. Good to know. Ended the call, checked the recording, clear audio, full admission. Perfect. I met with a second attorney, someone who specialized in estate disputes and fraud cases. She was different, sharp, direct, read through everything, listened to the recordings, examined the forged signature, looked up at me. You've got a solid case. If we do this right, you'll get more than the house back. Really? Damages, legal fees, possibly punitive damages for the fraud. This wasn't a mistake. This was intentional. Will you take my case? Absolutely. I've handled family litigation before. It's ugly, but justice matters more than keeping the peace with people who don't respect you. Finally, someone who understood. Someone who didn't flinch at the word mother. I signed the retainer agreement that day. My lawyer started working immediately, quietly, methodically, pulled financial records, contacted the title company, tracked down the buyer, requested copies of all closing documents, notary information, wire transfer records, started building the timeline. Mom had planned this for months, since right after Grandma died, found a buyer, her friend from book club, someone willing to participate in the scheme, forged my signature, filed fraudulent paperwork, split the profits. But they'd made mistakes, small ones, and my lawyer was finding every single one. The biggest discovery came 2 weeks into the investigation. The buyer, Mom's friend, had flipped the house immediately. Sold it to the current occupants for $100,000 more than she'd paid Mom. Quick profit, clean transaction. Except for one thing. She never paid the property transfer tax, required by law, mandatory for all real estate sales. Without it, the sale was technically invalid, which meant the deed transfer could be challenged. My lawyer smiled when she found this. This is leverage. Big leverage. We filed a motion to void the sale based on the unpaid transfer tax and the forged signature. We tracked down the notary, C. Williams, a notary public licensed in our county. My lawyer scheduled a deposition, asked for all records related to the house sale. At first, the notary was defensive. I notarized dozens of documents every week. I can't remember every transaction. My lawyer showed her my driver's license. Do you remember notarizing a signature for Tessa Langdon on this date? The notary looked at the document, then at me, then back at the document. Her face went pale. I never met this person. So you didn't verify her identity? But no. Someone else brought the papers, said they were acting as her representative. I shouldn't have. I should have insisted on meeting her personally. Will you sign a sworn statement to that effect? Long pause. Yes, we had it in writing. The notary admitting she'd never verified my identity. The case was building. Mom invited me to Thanksgiving like nothing had happened. Family dinner at my place, 3 p.m., don't be late. I almost didn't go, but my lawyer advised me to. Document everything. Record conversations if you can. See how they behave. So I went. Mom acted normal, cheerful, bragged about Blake finally finding himself on his Europe trip. He's discovering who he really is. It's beautiful to watch. My aunt nodded along. That's wonderful. Travel is so important for young people. Nobody mentioned the house, the fraud, the theft. I sat quietly, smiled when appropriate. Mentally noted everyone who laughed at Mom's joke about my travel phase. With the Airbnbs, every person who knew the truth and said nothing. Every person who chose her over me. I was building a list. 2 weeks later, Mom was served. Court papers, civil lawsuit, fraud, forgery, theft, damages. She called me 17 times that day, left voicemails, crying, screaming. How could you do this? You're destroying our family, over a house. I can't believe you'd sue your own mother. You're gonna regret this. I didn't answer a single call. Instead, I posted a quote on my Instagram story. Sometimes silence is the loudest statement you can make. Vague. But she'd know. Mom launched a smear campaign, told everyone I was greedy, ungrateful, mentally unstable, claimed I'd forged her signature, that I was making everything up. Started texting my ex-boyfriend, digging for dirt, asking if I'd ever stolen or lied during our relationship. Called my boss, tried to get me fired, but I'd stayed clean. Documented everything, kept my hands spotless. She was flailing, desperate, making mistakes, and I was letting her. My cousin called me late one night, the one who'd posted oof in the group chat. Tessa, I need to tell you something. What? I saw the court documents, the ones Mom's been showing everyone to prove you're lying. And? They're fake, or altered. The signatures don't match, the dates are wrong. How do you know? Because I saw the real ones, at your lawyer's office, and I saw Mom's texts. My heart raced. What texts? Planning the sale, with her friend, talking about how to forge your signature, how to split the money. Do you have screenshots? Yes, and I'll testify if you need me to. My cousin, the one I'd written off, just became my strongest witness. Mom's deposition was scheduled for a Tuesday morning. She showed up in pearls, full makeup, trying to look like the victim. My lawyer asked straightforward questions. Did you have Tessa's permission to sell the house? She knew about it. Did she sign the closing documents? Of course. Were you present when she signed? Long pause. I can't remember. You can't remember if you were present for your daughter signing away a $300,000 property? It was a busy time. The contradictions piled up. She claimed I'd agreed verbally, then claimed I'd signed paperwork, then claimed I'd given her power of attorney. All lies. All documented as lies. The judge frowned, made notes. My lawyer smiled. Blake was called in next, tried to act confused, innocent. I don't really know the details. Mom handled everything. My lawyer pulled out her phone. I'd like to play an audio recording from a FaceTime call between the plaintiff and defendant's son. Blake's face went pale. The recording played. His voice, crystal clear. Of course I knew. Mom told me she was handling things, fixing your situation. You should thank us, honestly. The courtroom went silent. Blake stood up. This is ridiculous. You can't. The judge cut him off. Sit down. The recording is admissible. He stormed out, but the damage was done. Court records showed. He knew. He benefited. He lied. A local legal blog picked up the story. Daughter sues mother after inherited house stolen and sold to fund son's vacation. The article went viral. Shared thousands of times, comments poured in. This is awful. I hope she wins. The mother should be in jail. Mom's employer saw it. She worked in banking. Compliance was strict. They launched an internal investigation. Found she'd been taking extended lunches to handle personal legal matters without reporting them. She was fired the following week. Public sympathy was not on her side. Mom's lawyer reached out with a settlement offer. Half the profits from the sale. No admission of wrongdoing. Case dismissed. My lawyer presented it to me. It's not a bad offer financially. But there's no accountability, no public record, no consequences. I want the judgment on record. I want the title corrected. I want both of them legally responsible. Then we keep going. I nodded. We keep going. The trial lasted 3 days. On the final day, the judge delivered her ruling. The sale of the property was procured through fraud. The signature was forged. The notarization was improper. The transfer tax was not paid. Therefore, the sale is declared void and invalid. Mom gasped. Blake stared straight ahead. The property title is to be restored to Tessa Langdon immediately. Additionally, damages are awarded for emotional distress, legal fees, and punitive damages totaling $85,000. The gavel struck. Mom collapsed in her seat. Actually collapsed. Blake walked out without a word. I sat there, stunned, victorious. The house was mine again. 6 months later, I stood in front of the house with a paintbrush in my hand. The previous owners had been understanding once they learned the truth. Moved out cooperatively. No hard feelings. I'd spent weeks cleaning, repairing, restoring. Now I was repainting the front door. Grandma's favorite color, deep blue. Friends helped me move furniture, hang pictures, plant new flowers. I hosted a quiet dinner that night, just people who'd supported me, who'd believed me. We ate in Grandma's dining room, laughed, told stories, and for the first time in a year, I slept in the bedroom Grandma had left for me, in peace. In my home. Finally, a letter arrived last week. Mom's handwriting. I almost threw it away. But curiosity won. Tessa, I hope one day you'll understand why I did what I did. I was trying to help Blake, trying to help our family. I'm sorry it went this far. I hope we can move past this. No real apology. No accountability, just excuses. I didn't respond. Instead, I framed the judge's ruling. Hung it in the hallway, right next to Grandma's photo. Because what I understand now is this. When people show you who they are, believe them the first time. Grandma chose me because she knew I'd fight for what was right. Mom chose Blake because he'd never question her. And the law? The law chose truth over blood. That's the only family loyalty that matters.